Hello and welcome back to the channel for another video. Today I would like to take a look on a real old timer regarding GPUs, namely the GTX 970. This card was released back in the September of 2014, so it's around almost for a decade at this point. The card was originally released with an MSRP of $329, but now used even in my country they can be found for as little as 60-70 USD. This specific card is the WindForce 3X OC edition produced by Gigabyte, and for connectivity it has 3 display, 1 HDMI and 2 DVI ports. The card and NVIDIA came under some criticism because although the card is advertised as a 4GB card, the chip can only access 3.5 GB of RAM with full speed, and due to some technical issues, the rest half gigabyte can only be accessed with a much lower speed. To be honest, at this point it means only that the card will slow down if the games we are playing are using more than 3.5 gigs of VRAM. Let's test it in some of our favorite 7 games in 1080p. The testing was done on my test bench, which includes a Ryzen 7 3700X and 32 gigs of DDR4 3200 RAM, and the full specs can be seen on the screen right now. This time first, let's start with Fortnite. With the high preset that includes some 3D resolution scaling, the card managed to average 55 FPS, with the 1% low being 42. It actually felt pretty good, smooth, and even though it didn't reach the 60 FPS mark. Next, we got Assassin's Creed Valhalla in the built-in benchmark and the medium preset in the game. The card was running at 46 FPS with the 1% low being at 20 FPS. Red Dead Redemption shows a similar story also with the built-in benchmark with the balanced preset. The game averaged at 41 FPS with the 1% low at 33 frames per second. Cyberpunk 2077 with a mix of low and medium was running at 48 FPS with a 1% low of 35. After these AAA titles, let's jump on some more easy to run games. I believe when GTA 5 was released, they were programming it with this card in mind specifically, as it is running really well on even very high settings, and the card was averaging 109 FPS with a 1% low of 82 FPS. PUBG was actually a really good run with the medium settings. The card easily managed to achieve 91 FPS on average, with the 1% low also reaching more than 60 FPS. And last but not least, CS2 with the high preset, it was easily achieving over 100 FPS, with the 1% low also being 73. As a conclusion for today, if you bought this card back in 2014 and still use it, it is showing how much value this card actually is. Spread out the price for the last decade and you had a decent card for the most of the decade, about 33 USD per year. Up to date, it is still performing really good in these easy to run esports titles, and still more or less decent in the more demanding titles also. It does also show its age if you're looking for 60 FPS gaming, but this is to be expected from a card of 10 years old. Do I recommend buying it? Well, if you can find for a good deal for around 60 USD and you only need it for more esports and mid to lower end gaming, yes, but keep in mind that the card requires an 8-pin and a 6-pin adapter in the same time from the PSU. Before you go, please watch another video. Thank you so much for watching and see you soon.